All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 194. We're streaming on a new platform tonight, guys, so bear with us on a little bit of the lateness, but just wanted to make sure that everything looked good to go. Let me see if I can hide this thing real quick. There we go. Um, Yeah, so we're utilizing a different platform called Streamlabs tonight. So guys, when you comment in, you guys should see your comments up on the screen. I set like a chat box up so you can see the live comments. But just want to welcome back in Mario, what's up, brother? Thanks for joining tonight.
Yeah, what's up, man? Good evening, Locked Nation. How's everybody doing, man? Thanks for inviting me for the new platform. Looks pretty cool.
No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, a little different than StreamYard, but I have us on IG and I have us on Facebook as well. And I got Facebook pulled up to the side of me here, and I have IG up top. I kind of honestly probably should have streamed. I thought I did to my main page because last week when I did it to the podcast page, it didn't have as much viewership. But when I streamed it to my main page, it had a lot more viewership for the first time that we did it. Um, so I don't know if it's because I think it's because I have more followers on my main page, so maybe that's why. But either way, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What we're gonna so comment in tonight, guys. Like if you like what you see. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, hit the notification bell to turn notifications on. If you're on Facebook, I'm assuming you're part of the group, so thank you for that. Hit that like button, comment in, and we'll have a discussion here tonight. What we are talking about is AI. What do we talk? What is AI? AI is artificial intelligence, and we're going to talk about how it's ultimately impacting the business and financial landscape. We'll mainly talk like the personal finance landscape. We'll talk a little bit about the business landscape, but AI is definitely it's kind of been up and coming for quite a while, to be honest, over the last couple of years, and it's just in continuing to grow, and I think it's going to be a major player in many different aspects. We're only talking business in the personal finance side tonight, but I think it's going to impact many, many other areas. If we have a little bit of time, we'll touch briefly on some of that. But excited to hop into this, man. Again, thanks for joining.
Sure, man. Anytime. Yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting episode. Let's get it started.
Yeah, man, good conversation. Mm. So, man, artificial intelligence. So, I'm not gonna lie. When you kind of hear it at first, it kind of sounds a little scary, right? It's a lot of automation, a lot of different things going on, and I ultimately seen a lot of it in the when one of my good friends was actually using it for his business. There's a such thing called Chat GPT, and there's some other players too, but ultimately people can use it's crazy, like the extent that you can actually use artificial intelligence now, like in business. Like if you actually want to write emails or texts to potential prospects, what they can do is it can actually analyze how you speak, how you text, how you speak, and what it can do is it can actually write those letters, those emails, those texts to potential clients, judging off of basically how you speak, how you word things, and it analyzes that, and it actually writes full emails for you. So you can email clients without actually having to take the time to type them up, to actually save you efficiency when you're scouting prospects, which is kind of crazy. It's crazy uh, to think about that, but that is one way it is changing the landscape. But what's your thoughts, man, when you hear like artificial intelligence, just from a general level? Like, what do you like? What are your initial thoughts?
Normally, when I think of AI, I mainly think of like robots. More like a more advanced technology. That's like my take on it. As far as it pertains to like the financial aspect, I've been actually watching some financial episodes on YouTube from like different people, and they're talking about how difficult the job market is. And apparently, what's happening is that when people are submitting their applications, the companies they're actually having, well, some of the companies, not all of them, but some of the companies are actually having AI review the resumes. So what happens is the AI is programmed or designed to look out for specific keywords in a resume, and if it even hints at one of those words, or if it notices one of those words, it automatically rejects the resume without even going into the hiring manager. And I kind of found that to be a bit fascinating because what's happening is that it's eliminating a lot of the people from the job market. Um, I just think that's absolutely insane. Like that's crazy. I mean, to know that that's what the future of the world was going to be. I mean, can you imagine the future of the job market where you're applying and you submit your application instead of having it reviewed by a live, actual, real person, it's actually being reviewed by a goddamn robot. Like that's crazy to me.
Oh, it really. Oh, my bad. That was actually a test thing. That was actually somebody. Let me turn that off real quick.
I
Um,
thought I thought you turned into a robot for a second, Brad.
yeah, I just testing that. So I put the chat. I just realized the chat thing wasn't actually live. But yeah, man, no, it really. That's. Mm,
Yeah, and mostly, it was within like the financial sector too. A lot of people were applying to like those finance jobs. That was just one specific video that I saw, but I'm pretty sure that if it's affecting that sector, I'm pretty sure it's probably affecting other sectors as well. But I mean, it's crazy to think like what AI is able to now do nowadays.
it really is, man. It's very crazy to see that. It's just a lot of people, I think, fear one of the biggest aspects of it is human labor that's going to be affected by it. I think that's
Mhm.
one of the biggest and scariest parts of it for a lot of people. A lot of companies can utilize artificial intelligence to maximize human labor. It can take away hours from the average person. It takes hours to create reports and make simple decisions. A lot of things with artificial intelligence for certain jobs, they may be outsourced through artificial intelligence, which scares a lot of people. They have those. That's one of the frightening implications of it, right? Loss of jobs. But it's important though to kind of remember when it comes to that there's I feel like there's gonna be a lot of things with certain jobs that artificial intelligence cannot do that humans can do. So there's a lot of pluses to artificial intelligence, but I'd say one of the scariest parts of it is the potential loss of jobs for many people due to the fact that artificial intelligence can kind of take over certain sectors, which I think scares a lot of people.
Yeah, and it should. It should because it's outsourcing a lot of the jobs. Like, I mean, the companies are now like they're trying to, especially in the tough economic times that we live in. I mean, they're trying to. Their bottom line is what matters the most to them. So they're trying to save as much money as they can. And if they can, lay off employees, I mean, why would I pay a living person when I can just, get AI or a robot and probably pay the AI less to be able to do what an actual person can do? And it's sad and scary to think about because I'm like, what happens if everything goes AI? Then there's not going to be any jobs for anybody.
Yeah, especially I work in like financial analytics and stuff, and but somebody did tell me one thing that's important to kind of remember about artificial intelligence is um, what happens is for every job lost, and like this is just going on the data analytics side of it. Doesn't even have to be financial analytics; just can be data analytics. For those who used to actually churn that data mindlessly and type things into boxes, we're already kind of seeing certain things. This isn't artificial intelligence, but Power BI, certain data visualization tools are making things easier for people who would just utilize Excel, create data tables from scratch, and do all different crazy things. Um, what somebody did tell me is one thing to remember is this is actually a good way to kind of put it is for every job that's taken away for people that were doing those tasks. What it ultimately allows you will allow human workers to do is actually focus on some of the higher level tasks that maybe artificial intelligence actually can't tackle. So it may save businesses time in terms of certain tasks, but it is still a little frightening to understand. But also it can be a really big benefit. It's like the same thing with technology, right? When we had technology, this is a part of technology, blessing and a curse. There's good things, there's bad things. There's implications on both ends. I think one of the other things on the business side is if you have a business and you're trying to kind of figure out who your niche customer is for your business. I think one of the things that I was reading an article that artificial intelligence is going to be able to do now and going forward is to give you deeper insights into consumer behavior. So you can understand who buys certain things, who purchases certain services, who buys certain products. So if you're providing a service or selling a product, you can kind of capture those vast amounts of data even more quickly and efficiently than you could before when it comes to artificial intelligence. So before artificial intelligence, it was more so the work of generating actual sales leads. It was done by individuals, right? Well, and now you can use artificial intelligence to kind of do this. It's amazing. Like there's a lot of softwares out there that can make this so efficient if you're running a business. It can make it so efficient.
Yeah, but think about what you just said. Before you had, a person doing it. That's a job that now is lost because now it's being covered by AI. So yes, while it's a pro for the company because it saves them money and makes the whatever task they're trying to do more efficient, that AI just eliminated that one job that that employee did. So like that's the con part of it, and that's why it's so tricky. That's the part that's so scary because it's eliminating all them jobs that people used to do, and now that's one more unemployed person that's on the unemployment line, and that's kind of how I look at it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, it could be, but also if you're running a business solo on your own and you're starting a business out and you're generating those leads on your own, it actually can also at the same time save you time. See, it's not really essentially cutting your job out. What it's doing is it's cutting that time out so that you can utilize that in other areas and help scale your business in different areas. Whereas like that time, was spent on generating leads when you're starting out your business, you can actually utilize AI to help you in an efficient time oriented fashion and optimize it to be able to scale the business in other ways. So there's positives to it and there's negatives to it. I do think that this is going to be something, no matter what, like how people feel about it. I think it's definitely going to be something that's not going anywhere. I think it's going to continue. And I just think ultimately the landscape of the world, especially when it comes to business and financials, is going to have to find a way to optimize it because people all can't lose their jobs. Like we need human capital in the world as well. So the world, I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough period as we adjust, but eventually I do think the playing field will level eventually, but it's going to, I do think there is going to be a little bit of a curve, how it always is when you, when there's something new. I feel like that's always how it is.
Yeah, well, my thing is, obviously we definitely need humans. I mean, we can't go AI like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But when does it get to a point where it's mostly AI and just very, very little humans? Because I mean, where's the jobs for everybody else? I mean, how are people going to make money?
Yeah, it's true. They're gonna have to. You know what I mean? There's gonna have to be. There's eventually gonna have to be a level playing field. People can't not work, right? People need to have money. People have to have income. The world has to. Because here's the thing. One thing I will tell you: the economy cannot move. Just think of that GDP and everything, right? The economy cannot move forward without people spending money. There's no possible way to keep the economy going forward without spending money. So they have to keep people in jobs in order to make money to keep spending money. Because guess what? AI ain't going to be spending money. Artificial intelligence isn't going to put money back into the economy. So there has to be a certain spot where you kind of have to draw a line. Because if it's so efficient that you don't spend any type of money into human capital, there's nobody that's spending money into the economy. And the economy cannot continue and cannot flourish without the cycle of people spending. If you're not spending money into the economy will eventually just completely crash. So
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary to think about.
It's an interesting question, though. It's a good question for sure. Let me just check something on YouTube, make sure we're streaming there, make sure everything's good. Because on Facebook and Instagram, we are good. Why did Vermont kick me out? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute this. Let me see something.
Yeah, Instagram's good. I'm just checking it right now. Just out of curiosity. It's so cool that you can live on Instagram now.
Yeah, so is YouTube. Okay, cool. I tested it. I wanted to go into YouTube and make sure that it would show that I'm watching. Okay, because didn't have anybody at first. Okay, cool. YouTube's good. Well, let me test. Actually, I'm actually gonna put a test into the chat here, guys, and I just want to see if it comes up on the live chat. Damn, it's not gonna let me. I wonder if I can. You know what? I can type it up in here. the chat. Chat don't want to stay open. Let's see. Oh, I see it. You see, there's a comment there. It comes up there. It's kind of small though. Let me see if I can do just one thing real quick. Sorry, guys. I just want to see if I can. I can actually make this a lot bigger, I think.
What, the chat or stream?
Yeah, the chat box. I can make the chat box a lot bigger, as well as the alert box up here. So let me. I know we're playing with this live, but it'll get a lot easier as after this first week. So.
Better quality than the Zoom, I'll tell you that.
A lot better.
I remember when you and George used to do this on Zooms. God damn.
Yeah, right.
Come a long way.
See down there? It comes down there. Do you see it says Locked In Podcast and it says it?
Yeah, it says it shows testing. Yeah, I see it.
All right, cool. So we can get a chat box going on. So that would be a show on stream. Oh, that's cool. All right. So I'm going to try to utilize that as much as possible. As we see comments come in, they will come through the screen. Something I'm definitely interested to play with this more and be able to see what we can ultimately utilize here as we go through. But yeah, man. So from the business side of it, it's a little scary. I think there's pros and cons, and there's pros and cons on both ends. It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, consumer behavior, maximizing human labor, and then there's a lot of other things too. I don't know if you know what KPIs are, but they're key performance indicators. That's one thing that people were saying in my job. Were saying in my field, they were saying that what we do is we ultimately we analyze the key performance indicators of certain business units inside of our company. So like business units for my company, we consider programs. So we see how much ultimately how many consumers they serve, which means we need more revenue, which if they're generating a lot of revenue and there's a lot of expenses, how a nonprofit makes money is off of administrative expenses. So say we're charging 15% on all expenses, we get a 15% cut of that. So the programs that have more expenses for our program funded pieces, we make money off them if they have higher expenses. And the higher the expenses, that means we'll get more revenue usually year after year. But anyway, what we do is we analyze the key performance indicators of what ultimately shows us that this program, or I guess in like a for-profit, what if this business unit or this product or this service is growing? What is showing us that there is key performance there? So maybe if a certain product is selling at a certain level, it means that we're growing. If it's not hitting that target, then it means it's not. And it might have to do away with it. But a lot of the work with KPIs depends on us as humans to put together our spreadsheets and analyze that, put together the data visualizations. But however, one of the things is AI is not really taking away the job, but it's ultimately helping you those people to make decisions in certain areas and helping us to understand it in a quicker way without having to build certain visualizations. So it can be helpful at the same time, but also that's the one thing I would say when it comes to business too is if I was running like a business, I would be a little hesitant to make my business completely reliant on AI, because here's the thing, God forbid that technology does get taken away, you're kind of screwed in terms of running your business. So while it is beneficial, I would also say from my personal perspective, I'd be a little bit hesitant to completely streamline my business using artificial intelligence. However, some people, they might not be too scared of that. I think there needs to be some type of human component.
No, you definitely have to have that right balance, because you could probably have the best of both. You could have AI do some tasks, and then you can have humans do other tasks. And that way, it's like you said, if artificial intelligence gets taken away, if something happens to it, you have human employees that you can rely on to carry the show. So I think it comes down to having a healthy balance between the two. But it's definitely AI is definitely changing the landscape. There's no doubt about that. It's been very prevalent now within the last few years or so. They're not making those videos for nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's absolutely, you're absolutely right. It's becoming much more prevalent, much more prevalent. And it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be continued to be utilized, man. Like I said, I just don't see it going anywhere. I don't see it going anywhere. And I think this is going to be, it's going to be here for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere either because at the end of the day, when you're in business, what's the primary goal of being in business? To make money.
It's a big
So if you
profit.
can outsource, yeah, if you have AI and you can do things cheaper, that means there's going to be more, for your bottom line. So, I mean, that's the rule in business to make money. So yeah, if you can outsource cheap labor to artificial intelligence, why not?
Yeah, we're not a charity case, that's for sure. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you're trying to hit your bottom line. You're trying to hit your net profit after all your revenues, expenses go through. What are we trying to look, man? We're trying to look for cash flow. We're trying to look for positive cash flow. We're trying to look for a net profit on our income statements. And that's ultimately we're trying to look for a positive net cash flow at the end on our cash flow statements at the end of the year. So that is ultimately what a business is looking for, man. And if they can see revenue growth, if they can see net profit growing year after year after year, that is going to be where they make their decisions. And guess what? If artificial intelligence can do that effectively and can help them meet those goals, yeah, man, I don't think it is going to go anywhere. However, I do think there is going to be, like I said, I think there's going to be an adjustment curve. We're going to kind of have to learn how to balance artificial intelligence with human capital because, like I said, human capital is very much needed for the economy. If there's no human capital, man, there's no money coming in and there's no spending. Artificial intelligence ain't spending money. So
Yeah, I would hate to imagine that scenario, man. You could be looking at a Great Depression. Nobody's spending any money, no stimulus. That means the economy is not stimulating, and boom, there you go, man. You have the combustibles to create a Great Depression.
yeah,
So I hope, God forbid, it never ever gets to that. I mean, that would be catastrophic.
yeah, there's a lot of good even budgeting tools using AI software nowadays to help us. So if I shift from business to the personal finance side, I'll actually start by mixing a little bit of the business with the personal finance. So say business in terms of financial advisors. Um, Personalized financial advice is it's actually when I was reading, it's become actually sort of like a hallmark of AI's impact. So what I mean by that is, you know how there's like personalized human financial advisors out there. While they're still beneficial because there's a lot of things that AI can't do that humans can, artificial intelligence can also do things more efficiently sometimes than humans. So it's what it's been doing is it's been by leveraging like kind of like AI sort of algorithms. What it's doing, what I was reading was there's innovative platforms that they use and they can analyze vast amounts of data about the consumer, right? That may take a human a bunch of time to do. It can analyze it from bank accounts, credit history, and kind of deliver tailored recommendations of kind of where to park their money, what to do with their money, how to budget, how to save, how to invest their money out of that like or where to park it and what investment vehicle. And it can kind of tailor those recommendations to align with whatever their financial goals are and whatever their ultimate risk profiles are in terms of it. So it kind of it's kind of crazy, but that is a way too. But you know what? Consumers are actually going to like that, right? Because as humans, we can only do so much. But as if you have artificial intelligence along with humans, as long as we're not outsourcing the jobs, if there's both artificial intelligence and the human element of it, I think it could be very beneficial um, to help us to park our money in the correct areas and be able to utilize our money effectively depending on what our financial goals are. So I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that, but this is what I've been saying. That's one thing I saw is that um, personalized financial advice from the aspect of a financial advisor has become one of the hallmarks of artificial intelligence's impact.
Wow, I didn't actually know that. So they actually have AI to create like budgets for you and stuff like that.
Yeah, ultimately to kind of act as a financial advisor or essentially help financial advisors. So there are certain AI algorithms that can be utilized to help. What they can do is it's an AI algorithm that can take your credit history, your banking history, your bank accounts, all different types of stuff, and analyze your history over the years, maybe from the beginning of time since you've had money, or since you were working and generating income. And what it can do is it can kind of analyze that entire history, and then it depends on what your financial goals are, and say if in terms of investing, what's your risk tolerance, and what it can do is it can kind of put all that together to help you make decisions.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't mind the investing part of it. I just don't know if I feel comfortable with a robot having my financial information and stuff like that, man. That's the only part I'm a little bit queasy about because I take my finances very seriously. I mean, I go over my budget every month. I track what's going in and what's coming out. I don't know if I want like AI or robot to have access to those types of numbers. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they gave me like tips on how to properly invest my money because obviously at the end of the day, I want to make more money, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do. But I don't know if I'm comfortable at the moment or as of this time frame to have AI, go through all my finances and whatnot. Like, I mean, what happens if an AI gets hacked? Then those people that hack the AI, they have access to all your, financial data. So I think it's like a little bit queasy for me. I'm not sure if I would like go that far in terms of it having like my personal financial information.
Yeah, and you're entitled to that that little bit of fear there, man. Absolutely. Anybody who takes their money serious might have a little bit of trepidation and a little bit of fear when it comes to that, right? I do think that the correct safeguards need to be in place. Absolutely. Without those safeguards, yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable about that either. I would say not even maybe in terms of the artificial intelligence, but how safe is the technology that we're putting our information into? Because humans are the biggest, are some of the biggest thieves out there, right, man? We got really, really evil people in this world who will try to do anything to try to tap into your money. So with AI comes another form of people trying to, how it goes. When debit and credit cards became a thing, man, we started using cards more for everything instead of cash. Instead of like holding someone at gunpoint to rob them, what they do is you got hackers that put skimmers, different ways to hack your money, hack your bank accounts online. Well, with artificial intelligence comes more people that are probably trying to take advantage of that technology to hack in and take your money. So I do think the right safeguards need to be in place. Absolutely. And there needs to be a lot of times when you invest in there's certain things, there's certain type of insurance, right? It comes with credit cards, the same thing, insurance. So you need to be protected. Absolutely. And your financial information needs to be protected and safeguarded too. I think there needs to be the right safeguards in place for sure. There's actually a thing with budgeting software too, man. What they're saying is now there's a lot of there's AI budgeting software out there. So what used to take people hours, either through pen and paper or Excel spreadsheets, now this is something that used to consume hours for people, right? Really putting everything together. Well, now you can kind of put these things together in a matter of freaking minutes. It's crazy utilizing these budgeting tool softwares that are AI generated. It's crazy. So in another aspect of why we have financial tailored advice, helping financial advisors do AI from a financial advisor standpoint, now we have a lot of AI budgeting tools as well. And this software can help us categorize expenses, track bills, calculate our savings. And it's done so quickly. You can kind of put your snapshot and your information in there. What it does is it puts everything together right through the software like that. It's crazy.
God damn.
Accomplished in moments, man. Talk about efficiency, right?
Yeah. It's scary how advanced technology is becoming though, man. I don't know. A part of me kind of like likes the era how it was before. I actually kind of like pen and paper, man. I'm like, dude, and to be able to get to a point to where the computer is basically doing everything for you and telling you what to do and giving you all the numbers back, man. I don't know, dude. I really really like the old school way.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say, there's pros and
The thing
cons.
is, I also don't want it to make us lazy because I
Yeah,
think it gets to a point where it's like, okay, like what effort and what work are you actually putting in? If you have a computer basically doing all the numbers here for you, I mean, what effort are you putting in? So that's my concern as well. I don't want people to become lazy and whatnot. I want people to take their financial seriously. But let's say you get so used to having AI run your numbers and your spreadsheets and your financial sheets like that, man. I mean, you're not going to be able to really do anything. Then you're just going to have the computer do things for you.
Yeah, man, I think that's fair. I think that's one of the that's what I was saying with the business side of it too. I wouldn't want to streamline my whole business in terms of AI. I think if anything does happen to that technology, you're kind of screwed and left out in the dark. So, and I do think it's very important for us to challenge our brains and to stimulate our brains. I think that kind of going back to last week's episode, we talked about strategies to overcome brain rot. I think that not stimulating your mind, not challenging yourself intellectually, can actually be very detrimental. So I think there's certain you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to utilize it. But I'll be honest, I think that it can help us. Maybe a lot of tedious tasks that we don't like to do, we can just kind of throw that into an AI software, and it actually I think can help us. So there's a lot of tedious tasks out there, right, that we don't like. It really depends on what we like and what we don't, and what's tedious and what's not. And hey, if there's a software out for it, it can definitely help us increase our productivity.
No, I agree that it can definitely help us, but my concern is that it can also make us lazy.
Oh
And it
yeah,
can
well,
also
that's
make
what I'm
us
saying.
lose, like, yeah, it can make us be lazy and it can make us lose track of things. And that's like my concern. I guess like when I think, like my thing is like when I think of AI, I'm looking at more of like the cons than I am more so looking at the pros because I get concerned about people losing their jobs. I get concerns about, artificial intelligence making humans more lazy than they're already becoming. Like that's like the aspect that I'm looking at it. Like I don't want us to become lazy. I want us to become, independent. I want us to become free flowing thinkers or whatnot. But the thing is, if you give all that to a robot, what are you going to get in return?
It's very true. Yeah, it's very true. It's that's why I say you got to kind of pick and choose. I wouldn't do everything through AI, but there's certain things that I would use AI for.
Yeah,
And
I
not
think we just need more time. Honestly, I think even though like because it's up and coming, I think we need more time to like to really really analyze this technology to see what like the benefits are and whatnot, and to see. I think we need like a more like I don't think all these years that's been doing it's been enough. I think we'll probably know like I think we'll have a better scope of where AI stands at in probably like the next 10 or 15 years or so.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. I think AI at that point is going to be so far integrated. We'll have a better scope, but it's going to be very integrated. Lots of people I know are already using this for their businesses, and they're making lots of money utilizing it. It's I know people have been utilizing it for a few years now. So AI, while it's new to some, it's definitely making this market continue into what. Yeah, of course, the sample size is relatively small, but people are utilizing it, man. And you might have competition that's utilizing it. So that's the thing. When you got competition out there that's utilizing it too, is definitely something to analyze because if they're utilizing it, they might be getting the jump on you as well, which, they may be able to do things more productively, more efficiently. So that's definitely something to think about if you're going to look at it from the business aspect of it. Now, personal finance a little bit different. You kind of have your own choice there. You're not really competing with anybody. It's more so your financial picture. But when it comes to business, I completely understand the utilization of AI because if you heard your competitors are using it, they're going to probably run circles around you. You know what I mean? They're going to be doing things much more efficiently, more quickly than you because a human can only do things so quickly. You know what I mean? But yeah, in terms of of your own financial picture, it's kind of to your discretion because you're not in competition with anybody. It's more so your financial picture.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If I ran a business or if I had a business, I would definitely have human employees. But yeah, I would definitely use AI as well to streamline the business to make it much more efficient. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're in business. The competition's fierce. You're competing with other people. You're competing with other companies. So yeah, if you can utilize AI to make it easier for you, absolutely, I would definitely do it as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. No doubt. There was an article I was actually reading. I wanted to go to something on it, read a couple things off. But this was something from the personal finance side of it. Remember, I was talking about the budgeting software earlier. Well, now there's even ways that there's automation, and what it's doing is it's actually extending into, like I was saying, investment advising and actually loan processing. And this is kind of where AI can assess market conditions and applicant data to offer suggestions or make decisions. It says that would even challenge even seasoned professionals who
Wow.
have been doing it for a very long time. Um, it says AI can. This is something that also it says AI can also enhance decision making, but by providing enhances decision making by providing predictive analytics in finance. What it means by that is by analyzing some of the trends and patterns that you kind of see from your financial picture, AI can forecast future financial scenarios for your personal finance. So now businesses and business, what we do on the finance side a lot of times is we have a budget, we have our original budget, and then what we do is we forecast maybe for a year, 2 years, maybe 3, 4, 5. Maybe we have a 5-year picture and we're forecasting how much money we're generating, what our expenses will be, inflation, all different types of things. But this can actually forecast your future financial scenarios for your own personal finance. And what it can do is it can actually help you by what you type in. It can actually help you make informed decisions about your investments, your savings, and your spending. And it says this is kind of powered by like machine learning, and it transforms uncertainty into strategy. It's kind of crazy, man, but you can kind of utilize this for your personal finances now.
Damn, I might as well give it a shot. The hell do I have to lose?
Yeah, there's actually I want to talk to you about it after the show, but there's a good thing that I was talking to my boy the other day. You know who he is, but he's been on here before. If you're listening, my boy Bryce, it's a thing where I'll tell you about it off screen, but it's a software that you can actually play around. What it does is it gives you like a certain amount of money, like maybe it's like $200,000, and it's fake money. It's not real money. It's fake money. But what it does is it allows you to invest that money as like a game, kind of, not as a game, but like kind of as like it kind of allows you to kind of play around with it and like test and kind of see where you're at and how you invest and see different scenarios, so you can utilize your money effectively. So for someone who's never invested, you know what I mean, it could be very beneficial for you to use. But I'll talk to you about it off screen, man. But definitely wanted to share it with you.
No, that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, I eventually, I definitely eventually want to get into investing in one of that. I mean, one of my goals is to eventually become financially free to the point where, I can have money and not have to worry about it. So yeah, if I can utilize AI to get there, I mean, why not?
Yeah, man. There's definitely a way you can use a lot of stuff, man. So there's a thing I saw too. What was it around? It was surrounding like AI. So this is some of the AI personal finance apps that they have out there. What they're doing is ultimately with these apps is they're leading a charge near a new era, as I was saying, towards mainly financial planning. They're making it simpler, more efficient, and accessible for everyone. And what the apps ultimately leverage is the AI algorithms and the machine learning I was talking about. And what they do is they provide users with personalized advice, automate budget tracking, optimize those saving strategies that I was talking about earlier. One of the apps that's a big one is called Clio. It's dubbed as the personal AI financial assistant. It analyzes your spending habits, provides actionable insights to help you save money and stick to your budget. And it's kind of like having a financial advisor in your pocket. It's always ready to offer guidance and support. Now, I don't know if this software is free or not. It might not be, to be honest. But I'll try to give you guys a list of the ones that are free and that aren't. Let me see. So this app they have different tiers. So their plus is $5.99. It's a $5.99 monthly subscription. And then they have one that's a builder, and it's $9.99 per month for students and recent graduates. But it looks like it's not too much money, but it's kind of like a personal financial assistant in your pocket. $5.99 a month, not too bad. Wally is another one they talk about here. It excels in expense tracking, giving users a comprehensive overview of their financial health. With this app, it says planning for the future and setting financial goals becomes a very intuitive process. So we have another one called Magnify and Rocket Money. Rocket Money is another one. I utilize Rocket Money myself. Are at the forefront. They offer suites from budgeting to bill negotiation. Now, I will tell you this with Rocket Money. The one thing I'll say with bill negotiation, it would canceling certain subscriptions. If you want them to do it for you and you don't cancel the subscriptions, or if you want to do the negotiation side, I will say Rocket Money is a free app, but there are certain paid versions. So you honestly have to look at the tiers there. For the negotiation side, I'm pretty sure that's a paid subscription. So they can negotiate bills for you. What they do is they have ways to negotiate with the actual whoever the company is, they can negotiate your bill down, which is pretty cool. But you have to pay for it. It's how a lot of things are, to be honest. A lot of
Yeah, I
things
mean that's a premium service, so they're not
yeah,
just going to give it away. I mean, I'm sure they probably have like free trials just so you can try it out. But when you have a premium service like that and it negotiates on your behalf, I'm definitely not surprised that it's paid.
yeah, yeah. And they got pretty good results with the negotiations too. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, some things are worth paying for. You know what I mean? Not everything, but certain things are worth paying for. You know what I mean? If you're someone who doesn't like or is a little nervous with communicating with other people in terms of negotiating, that actually might be a good route to go. Pay a little bit extra money per month, just to have that service, and then cancel it when you want to. So you can go to the free version. But there's another one called YNAB. It's YNAB, and it stands for You Need a Budget. And it's not purely AI driven, but it does incorporate some of the elements of artificial intelligence to tailor your budgeting advice and strategies to individual needs. It focuses on zero-based budgeting method. If you guys don't know what that is, you can look it up. I have a vague. I'm not familiar with all of them, but I've heard of zero-based budgeting. And zero-based budgeting. It's ultimately all it is it's when your income it's just your income minus your expenses equals zero. So it focuses on that, and I think what it probably does is it probably utilizes a way to get you from zero to more, to having more left over that you can save. And also AI is playing a big role, bro, in this too. Risk management and fraud detection. So remember, you were saying you have the fear of like allowing your money. Well, AI is actually playing a role right now in risk management and that fraud detection. It's something that they're ultimately. That's another thing.
Interesting.
I actually know someone who's like a VP in fraud. So like for a certain bank, a bank that you all know. I won't say the name of it, but
I hope it's not Wells Fargo.
it's not Wells Fargo. I can say it's not Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Because Wells Fargo, I don't know. They might be in some trouble if it was Wells Fargo with all the stuff that went on there. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, I still can't believe it happened to this day, man. Creating fake bank accounts and shit. I'm like, damn, that's going pretty low.
Yeah, it's just crazy. People are utilizing like TikToks to do it and stuff. It's crazy. So basically it says AI in finance become a game changer when it comes to fraud detection. The integration of like these AI algorithms into the financial systems, it's empowered institutions to significantly enhance their capacity to identify, assess, and mitigate those risks efficiently, detecting fraudulent activities. So people used to get away with a lot of financial fraud back in the day. It's even though there's a lot of good criminals out there, not good, but you know what I mean, they're good at getting away with things. I will say these AI advancements, I think, are making it much more difficult for people to get away with this shit, to be honest. I can't stand people who rob other people of their money. It's one of the biggest things is that people who steal money out of the pockets of other people. It's just absolutely disgusting and it's ridiculous. So I'm all for this because people work hard for their money, man. And when there's people out there that are just trying to take from people, you don't even know their financial situation. You don't know them on a personal level. So to them, it's like they don't feel anything. You really don't know who you're affecting or what you're taking away from someone. Maybe someone struggling to put Christmas trees under the freaking Christmas tree at Christmas time or feed their kids. And you're taking money out of people's pockets. It's just so fucked up.
It is, bro. It is. And I have no respect for it. People who do shit like that, man, especially in the times that we're living in, man. You have a lot of people out there living paycheck to paycheck. They're trying to save every last cent that they can. And to have, that type of fraud going on is completely fucking unacceptable. So, yeah, hopefully some good could definitely come out of that, especially in the fraud sector, because we definitely need it. A lot of scams out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it not even only on my personal finance, but I've seen it at like working at my company for the last 5 years. I've seen it like people with credit cards, man. They said they hack into these the corporate credit cards, and you see fraudulent charges come up, man. I've seen it many times analyzing like the ledgers and stuff. Seen this type of stuff. It doesn't happen a ton, but it definitely happens, man. They somehow, and the company I work for, the corporate credit card it's a nonprofit. So we're out here feeding these shelters, these different types of programs, drug and alcohols, whatever. We're providing things to these programs, and people are getting their hands on these, somehow hacking into these credit cards that we mainly use JP Morgan Chase for. And you see these fraudulent. The good thing about credit cards is the insurance. You know what I mean? Credit cards are highly insured to a certain extent. So that's the one good thing about credit cards versus like a debit card, like your checking account, savings. We always talk about this all the time. Credit cards are very highly insured, but still, just the main thing that I'm trying to get across is that it happens everywhere. It happens corporate. It happens personal finance. There's a lot of scammers out there, and if AI can help mitigate this shit, I'm all for it.
I second that, man. I'm all for that as well, dude. And the crazy part about that is like when you look through those ledgers, man, if you're like a human, you might be able to miss some of those fraudulent charges. Whereas if you have artificial intelligence and you have a computer, the computer is probably able to pick up on it right away, and they'll be able to alert you if something fraudulent did happen. So yeah, I actually see a lot of good out of that coming out.
Yeah, because you usually say like a credit card company, you make a certain purchase in a certain state or a certain amount, it's over your typical threshold. It's usually a human that will analyze that and catch that, right? AI can catch that actually quicker than maybe a human could have. So yeah, no, absolutely. What it probably does is analyzes your spending, tracks your spending history, and it can catch it probably a lot quicker. And the quicker the AI can catch it, the quicker it can report it to your bank or your credit card company and stuff like that. And it can probably even do it for you. But they are saying that the volume of financial transactions and the sophistication of fraud attempts it's actually dramatically increasing statistically across the board. So there's an example here. It says AI-powered systems can actually monitoring your banking transactions in real time, flagging unusual activities that deviate from a customer's typical behavior pattern, which I was actually saying, thereby accelerating that fraud detection process, and the quicker you can get it reported. Absolutely. And it makes sense. This is actually good for people that may be working fraud, because I don't know if it outsources it completely, but it actually helps those individuals to do their jobs more efficiently. So if you work in fraud at your bank or wherever, or in risk management, the capabilities have been instrumental in risk assessment. It says, financial institutions can now actually already predict your potential risk factors and their impacts more accurately. And it allows these preemptive measures to already be put in place. It not only minimizes the financial losses, but it enhances your customer experience by reducing false positives that can disrupt your genuine transactions. So yeah, it kind of, if they can catch it quickly, it can actually, I think that this is going to be, how like when you catch like fraud on your account, it's like it's like heart-wrenching sometimes. Like you hate to have it, like, you know what I mean? You hate to see something like this. I do think AI is going to be able to kind of get us, even though the shit might still happen, they'll have a better chance of preventing it. But if it does happen, I do think it's going to get nipped pretty quickly. Like it's a quicker chance of catching it, and it's going to be able to kind of, I don't know, it's going to kind of increase our satisfaction as consumers, right?
Yeah, of course, man. I know that all too well. I mean, my parents' bank account got hacked like a few months ago and shit. They weren't even really aware of it until the bank notified them that, I don't know if the bank used AI or if they have like a system set up in place, but apparently it noticed like fraudulent charges that they had never used before, and the system immediately picked up on that, and that's how we found out that there were fraudulent charges. So I had to go in there, I had to speak to the banker. They had to shut down the accounts. They had to create new accounts, and it was just a nightmare. And I think you went through something very similar to that as well. Although I think with you, I don't know if it was AI that called. I think your credit card company reached out to you about it, and they informed you. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass when that happens.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's not cool to have that happen, man. I had it one time, man. Like I had hit an ATM, dude, and then like I get on the beach, like 2 hours later, and I see that my freaking bank account's been hacked. Somebody was making charges at like a Sunoco gas station, something crazy. I was like, what the hell?
I'm sorry, bro. Guilty as charged.
Ultimately, what I think AI is doing too, right? It's enhancing financial literacy by doing this too. I think it's allowing people to kind of I I think that it's really, really helping with financial literacy, making people understand maybe different insights into their financial picture too, and kind of allowing them to kind of tailor their goals towards what they want. So something here says AI and financial literacy education together. What they do is they provide an actual foundation for people to navigate the complexities of the financial world with greater confidence and acumen. Um, Educating about people's AI's role in finance, um, can demystify the technology and showcase its potential for making informed financial saving as decisions, automating your savings, optimizing investments, and detecting fraud. I think that's the ultimate financial picture, right? We make financial decisions, right, in terms of our expenses, our spending. And then on top of it, we're automating, savings is a big part of our financial picture, investing, and then fraud. Four key areas of our financial picture. And using these AI powered budgeting apps and all these other financial tools, investment advisors, fraud detection systems, it can significantly enhance our financial well being. So I think on the personal finance side, this is great. I understand from the business side that it kind of scares you. It scares people a little bit because of the outsourcing of jobs potentially. But I think on the personal finance side, there's a lot of good things to see here, right? Like I said, as long as the appropriate safeguards are put in place.
Yeah, ultimately, it's going to come down to that healthy balance between humans and robots. I think that's going to be the key. If you can find the perfect balance, you're going to be very successful.
Yep. Even portfolio management, all different types of stuff. Ultimately, I think like the ultimate conclusion of it for me is that there is a lot of potential with AI and personal finance. I'm actually kind of excited to see what happens with it. And I just think even though we've had it for a few years, it's just the beginning of a journey into the future where financial services ultimately are just going to be more integrated with AI as we go forward, and also with blockchain technology too. There's going to be a lot of good things. I just think there's going to be a lot of positive for it on the personal finance side. So I'm honestly excited to see where that goes. On the business side, we shall see too. There's just going to be a lot of advancements, I think, in healthcare, all different areas. But I'm excited to see.
Yeah, my main takeaway is I'm just curious to see how this is all going to play out. I don't know if I would say if I'm excited or if I'm concerned. I guess you could say I'm a little bit of both. I'm excited to see, what it can do, but then I'm concerned because I don't want people to lose their jobs. So for me, it's kind of a wait and see approach to see what the future is going to hold. So we're probably going to know a lot more probably within the next 3 to 5 years or so to see, how far this technology is going to advance. So in that aspect, I'm actually kind of excited because it gives us something to look forward to. But then the concerning part of that is what's the future gonna look like? What's the future gonna be? Are people going to lose their jobs? Is it going to create more jobs? Those are answers to the questions that I would definitely like to know.
Fair point, man. Fair point. I think the same thing. You can have a little bit of excitement, but at the same time, there's a little bit of hesitation and a little bit of trepidation because we don't really fully know yet, right? We can read and we can see things, right? And I think there will be a lot of positives, but also I think there'll be some drawbacks too, especially as we adjust to the technology. So I'm curious to see. Speaking of healthcare, completely different note here as we kind of wrap up over the next few minutes here. Man, the whole thing, I could cover a whole episode on this. The whole thing with the United Healthcare CEO.
Oh my God, yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe out of all the places to catch that dude, they caught him at McDonald's. Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, in Altoona. They actually said I was listening to Law and Crime Network. It's a YouTube channel. And they were kind of breaking down the analysis of when it first happened, and then they kind of broke down a little bit more about the guy Luigi Maglioni or whatever after they caught the individual. But he actually, from what I heard, he actually took a bus down to Philly, made his way over west to Pittsburgh, and then made his way up to Altoona. So I heard he actually came this way first.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought he went. Oh, I thought he went straight to Altoona. He crossed past Philly first.
Yeah, at least from what I saw and heard, I think he made his way this way first, and then made his way west.
Holy crap! Yeah, I work in the city. Maybe I ran into him and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of me. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the a lot of there's a lot of people that support this movement. They support the whole thing that happened because they said he's essentially a modern day Robin Hood.
Yeah, well, I mean, in fairness, man, we don't exactly have the greatest healthcare system. I mean, the insurance companies have screwed over a lot of people. So I think what's happened is, I'm not saying that it's right that he killed the guy. Obviously, I mean, you would hate to see people get assassinated, but I mean, it's just the insurance topic is very, very subject, very, very touchy, and yeah, man. I mean, it's a lot of emotion out there, a lot of anger, and I completely understand where it's coming from, man. Because you have people paying for health insurance, and when it comes time for the insurance companies to pay up, when you're getting a procedure done and they don't pay up, you get screwed the fuck over. You're like, okay, well, what the hell did I pay all that money for if you're not going to cover any of my procedures? What did I pay all that money for if you're not going to cover my medications? So I completely understand the frustration, man, and I really don't blame people. Quite frankly, it's just a shame that it has to come down to this.
Yeah, insurance is just. We should actually talk about it on here sometime. Maybe I get somebody that works in it, but um, yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's very subjective when it comes to it, and a lot of people have had family members that were denied claims, man, and kind of got fucked over with the debt and shit. And so yeah, a lot of people are frustrated, man, and fed up. I will say that is one of the biggest disappointments of this country is our healthcare system. It's one of the most disappointing parts of the United States. Um, there's other countries that have free healthcare, and what they do is like you're taxed and your tax dollars go towards it each year. But this country is just not like that, and it's one of the biggest money grabs is healthcare in this country. It's one of the biggest money grabs and it fucks over a lot of people that just don't deserve it and just can't afford to pay some of these medical bills. So I agree with you, Mario. Absolutely nothing to. It's not something I would personally joke about. I'm not saying the guy was a nice guy. I knew people that worked at the organization. Apparently, this is not my opinion. It's just people I knew that worked at the organization. He wasn't really a nice guy from things I've heard. For inside the organization, he was not a nice guy from people that have met him. But the thing about it is at the end of the day, the guy did have 2 kids. He had a family. I don't ever think it's right to take somebody's life or, take away, there's, how I see it is if it was somebody in your family, you probably wouldn't like it. But at the same time, I do understand, the frustration, right? I do. I completely understand it. Like I said, I think healthcare is one of the biggest scams in this country. It really, really is.
Yeah, I can't imagine all the people that are in medical debt, and I'm like, especially if it's a procedure that you have to get done. I mean, if it's a life and death situation, the insurance company's not going to, if they're not going to cover it, then unfortunately you're going to have to go in debt with it. And I can't even imagine how much, medical debt this country has. And it's a problem that I don't even know how it's ever even going to get resolved. I mean, we're just such a large country with such a huge population. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe if we can adopt the Canada's policy, the two-tier system. But Canada's population was like what 33 million. We have a population of over 300 million. So I don't even know if that can even be implemented. I mean, it's definitely going to be something for our politicians or for our government to try to figure out.
You're absolutely right. And that's the thing. You're right. Our population compared to Canada's is, I mean, shit. You look at some of our major cities in this country, like New York and some of the cities in California, population's right then and there. You just see how much population that makes up of this country alone compared to even other areas. But yeah, I always say it's like health insurance, healthcare should be a basic right, man. And you know what? We print money, right? We print money. We're trillions of dollars in debt. You mean to tell me we can't find a way with healthcare, man? There has to be some type of way. I just think healthcare is it's a basic right. I think when you're born, the moment you're birthed into this world, I think healthcare, should be a basic right, man. It absolutely should be a basic right. It's a right to live. But unfortunately, yeah, we don't speak for the healthcare industry. I am not in control of that, and I understand people's frustrations. I just I still would never ever justify cold blooded murder, man. It's just like, it's just doesn't mean what the dude how that the guy was a good guy, doesn't mean anything like that. But I did hear that United Healthcare had some of the most denials out of their claims compared to other insurance providers. I did see they were on the very high end of denials, and it actually was a lot lower before he came in 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yes, before he became CEO. So,
Well, that would explain why them CEOs be making so much money. They're taking it from those that don't have any.
yeah, they're taking home a bonus while people are getting denied at a higher rate than ever, right? The denial rates are ridiculous. So they're getting, you know what I mean? They're lining their pockets and they're going back to their big homes with their family. And here's the thing, like people, I know a lot of people that go like also made the assumption that, so anybody else out there can speak on this too, that, if it wasn't a CEO and it was an average person like you or I, like we would not be talked about. Yeah, but I will say this, CEOs, it's not easy to become a CEO. I'll tell you that, unless your freaking dad owns the company or something. But just think about this for a second. To become a CEO takes a lot, right? You work your ass off in life and you move up. So yeah, of course you get heard about and you get talked about. I'll say, you know what I mean? Because you made yourself to a certain level. Like if AJ Brown from the Eagles died, something happened to him tomorrow, we would hear about AJ Brown. You know what I mean? If his life was taken, you know what I mean? It's just that's just how it goes. I just think that's not too much of a fair comparison. You know what I mean? Like people work their ass off to get to certain levels to be recognized, but of course you're going to hear about that news if it's a CEO. Of course.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. It's just how it is. It's just the world that we live in.
Yeah. Not all CEOs are scumbags, but are bad people. You know what I mean? Hey, McDonald's CEO, I think he saw that, and you saw what happened. They're bringing back the snack wrap. Do you see that? Like he brought back the snack wrap. He's like, "Oh, I don't have to worry about anybody trying to kill me. I'm bringing back the snack." He like said the snack wrap's coming back right after that happened. That's crazy, man.
He's trying to get out of Dodge.
Maybe it will make, what, man, as weird as this sounds, man, maybe it will make CEOs much more aware of their consumers.
Yeah, well, I heard the dude had like no security info on him either. So like he just walked out like early in the morning and almost broad daylight and stuff like that, man. No security, no nothing. The dude just shot him from the back. So like the guy had legitimately no chance. It was very like from a planning perspective, it was very, very well thought out. But I'm assuming that moving forward, mostly CEOs now will have possibly like private security detail. They're probably never going to let anything like that happen again.
Yeah, especially the big name corporations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I heard this dude was like really up there. He was making like millions and millions of dollars. So yeah, if it's somebody like that, man, it's I don't see it being that easy moving forward.
Yeah, his salary was pretty hefty. It was like $10 million a year. But you know what? It's actually a lot lower compared to some of the other health insurance CEOs. I think Cigna's makes $22 million.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. He was actually on the lower end.
Yeah, that explains why our healthcare is so BS, man. All the money at the top and very little at the bottom.
I will say this though too, man. A lot of CEOs make those ranges. Like if you look at like Bank of America and stuff like that, but healthcare is like a different beast, man, because it's a different industry. So when CEOs are making a lot of money, you're going to get looked at very poorly. Whereas in banking and financial institutions, they don't get looked at under the same microscope, right? Because it's not healthcare. You see, I think it also works like, nonprofits, the same thing, man. If CEOs and nonprofits are making $2 million a year and the company's not doing well, guess what they're going to say? Well, why are you working a nonprofit if you're greedy? But $2 million salary is like nothing compared to what other CEOs make. Like Bank of America CEO, like these big banks, that's nothing. And I will say, in my organization, the CEO don't make anywhere near $2 million a year. They make a lot less. But I'm just saying, if a CEO in a nonprofit was making $2 million a year, what do you think that would say? People would be like, oh, what the hell? Like, oh, why are they make? But I'm saying it kind of depends on the industry. Healthcare is just one of those industries, man, because healthcare, there's always going to be people that are struggling no matter what. Because unfortunately, healthcare is just not free in this country. So as long as it stays not free, like there's always going to be critics. I think the best thing we can do is, I don't think it'll ever be free, unfortunately. But I think that denial rates need to decrease significantly. I don't work in healthcare. Technically, I guess I do in nonprofit in a weird way. I work in like a healthcare type of company, but I don't actually work have anything to do with rates or anything like that. But it's interesting, man.
Cool. I'll see you making 10 million soon, right?
I'll tell you this, man. I will never tell you what anybody inside my organization from any level makes, because it's illegal for me to do so. It's very unethical. I can never do that. But I'll just say this is that, if say like the executive team all got raises and the organization wasn't doing well, say like during COVID, if they gave the whole executive team raises in a nonprofit, that would be a really bad look.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that has access to those financial pictures, which the finance team mainly does, oh boy, there'd be a lot of unrest, especially if their salaries weren't going up. An organization.
There goes the end of that nonprofit.
Yeah, no, it may survive, but you know what? You may lose some really good employees. Because
the quality is going to suffer. That's the issue.
Yeah, because I will say, a lot of nonprofits, money is very important, right? To be honest, money is a big goal in life. It's you don't let money consume you, but to have good wealth and build generational wealth is a great financial tool for your family and all these other things. But in nonprofits, a lot of nonprofits, they do one of the bigger things too about working for nonprofits is not only maintaining a steady income that's like, in a nonprofit you're going to make a little bit less, but you still want to have a decent salary for what you do. So what they do is a lot of companies evaluate those trends to see if you're on par with other nonprofits. But anyway, but another big thing is not just how much you make and what the benefits are. You usually get a lot of good benefits in nonprofits, but the culture. A lot of people want a solid culture, and a lot of nonprofits are like that. So guess what? If you have a nonprofit and the culture shift, and a lot of people may leave. I know a lot of people stay at nonprofits for good culture, solid culture, where you kind of feel more like a family, more so than like coworkers. And I'll give you an example. I've seen it at other nonprofits where it started that way, and certain mix of people from an executive team come in, and it doesn't become that way. People get upset, they leave.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. They don't like change.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like change on the down end. It's not like good change either. It's like when you notice like policies, being different, and you see the company heading in the wrong direction. I'm like, yeah, you want to get out of that shit while you can before it sinks to the bottom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it becomes a toxic work culture. I do believe it's good to have a good family-like work culture, but at the same time, I also do understand that I am hired to do a job, and that it's not all family-like all the time and everything like that. But some people really value that, man. They want a solid family-like culture, man. And I will say, man, it is a positive thing to have people that go to bat for you in an organization. Not everybody's a snake. Not everybody's out to take, to snake you. A lot of organizations, it's very competitive, man. So there are people that you may think are your friends, but they come out to snake you. My personal philosophy is I don't really go to work to make friends. I go to do my job and provide results for the organization to do my job. And if I'm providing results for the organization, what it does is it allows me to increase my value and I can go up. But I will say, like in my organization, especially on the finance side, we have a really solid family and we keep like a certain group, you know what I mean? Which it's cool. But not every organization has that. But it's good to have. It's good to have people that will go to bat for you.
Of course, man. That's the best part about being in a team. People having your back.
Exactly. And a lot of organizations are snakes, so.
And I try to stay the fuck away from them if I can.
Exactly. I try not to associate with those people unless we have to work on a project or something. You know what I mean? I don't really choose to work with those types of people, but you know what it is. So. Yeah, guys. So I'm going to continue to use this platform for the next couple of weeks here. Here's the thing. I know we were supposed to go 7:30. We went later than we weren't supposed to. So I don't. There probably was a lot of people that were going to watch. I knew some people at 7:30, but because we went late. Thanks to everybody who's liking and seeing things. We didn't have a lot of views on YouTube, so I'm excited to see that going forward next week. And I will put promotion out actually a little earlier going forward. I want to try to get used to this dashboard and these different things. Ultimately, guys, if you don't know, I was utilizing a software called StreamYard for the last few years. I'm not completely done with StreamYard. What I've done is I've frozen it for right now. I kept all my work in there, and I'm just playing around with new streams here to kind of see what the pros and cons are. Just trying to analyze and see where my best decision is. So I may go back to StreamYard, but I do want to play around with this to see how I like this. I I noticed on Instagram the view isn't. It's kind of like almost like a mobile view, and it kind of has us squished together. I think that's because I didn't really maybe format it correctly. So I'm getting used. That's the thing. Like this is going to be a streaming software that I'm going to need to get used to. It's a little bit different than StreamYard. So as I play around with it, Facebook and YouTube look great though. Everything looks great. The layout looks fine. And actually, I'll try playing around to see. There might be a meta option, actually. I know I didn't see Facebook, but I put a custom RTP for Facebook. If there's a meta option, I may be able to go this right to Facebook. And if I can do that, we can kind of get back to where we were with StreamYard, where I can throw the Facebook comments can come up right here, which would be great. I didn't see one for Instagram, but for Facebook, we may have one. So I'll play around with that. Let's see. But man, thank you for joining, brother. At some point we're probably going to be going back to sports. I know when I was talking to some of the guys, I was talking to Tyler and some of the boys from, and Andrew's group and stuff. And, we might have to get another sports episode in here as we kind of near the playoffs with the Eagles in the next, 4 weeks, which would be cool. I'm excited to see what this weekend holds, though, man, after everything that happened. It looks like AJ and Hertz addressed Brandon Graham's comments and stuff, so.
Yeah, I hope this week's gonna be very, very telling, man. They don't get it together, man. Those voices in Philly will just get louder and louder.
Yes, they will. I saw AJ Brown put the Joker picture, so on his IG. So I'm excited to stuff. Man, I heard the last time he did that, he went off for like 150 yards. So
yeah, we'll see. Well, Pittsburgh's got a good defense, so we'll see what happens.
Well, 2 years ago when we played Pittsburgh, it was a different team, but A.J. Brown went off for 3 touchdowns on them. almost four, very close to 4. He nearly broke away inside the 10 for a 4th.
Yeah, he should have had a 4th, yeah.
That was when he did like the point. Remember, he did the point at the and he got the flag. Remember that when he scored the touchdown and they were both on the ground, he pointed at them.
Yeah, that was such a bogus flag, man. They should have just allowed that to go, dude.
Yeah, man. You know what, though, man? Yeah, this is going to be very telling, right? If they come out and they win big in this game, everything will just be quieted. Everybody will just shut up.
That's what I'm hoping. But my concern is, what if it's the other way? What if, even if we win, what if it's a squeak win and let's say Jalen doesn't have a good game and AJ doesn't get the targets that he wants, man, and that's a worst case scenario because even if we win, dude, I mean, that means that shows that the locker room's a little bit fractured. And then, God forbid, I just don't want us to have a collapse like we did last year.
Well, I would say a worst case scenario is we lose the game. That's worse.
Well, I guess it depends on how. Like, I mean, if they go out there and they ball and let's just say Pittsburgh's offense just kills our defense, I mean, in that case, then it is what it is. But
that's a worst case scenario, too, because that's not a good look for our defense.
It's not a good look for our defense, but considering everything that's happened this week, if the offense gets it together, at the very least, we'll know that they're on the same page. My concern is, not only do we lose, but the offense still looks like shit. I mean, at that point, we got serious concerns to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully it doesn't get to that, though. Hopefully we win, and, that's an end.
Yeah, I think our biggest difference this year than last year, though, is 2 things. Saquon Barkley and our defense is really good. 2 things that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, so. God bless the Giants. Thank you guys so much for giving us Saquon. God bless y'all.
Yeah, if it's week 17 and Saquon has a chance to break the record and we play him against the Giants and he breaks it on week 18.
There you go, man. That will teach that. Let that be a lesson to all the organizations out there. Don't let a generational talent walk.
Dude, I swear, if he breaks the rushing record against the Giants.
Especially considering the miserable year that they're having. That right there would be like the cake.
I'm not going to lie. If we had nothing to play for and that game was at MetLife, I'd say no because I don't like that turf, bro. I don't trust the turf. God forbid the ACL or something happens, bro. But that game's in Philly. So I hate that turf at MetLife, dude. Hate it. I remember AJ went down last year. Remember, final week of the season, we played at MetLife, bro. And when AJ went down, bro, he was hurt for the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember that too, yeah. That was not just AJ. A lot of other people have gotten hurt up there too. I don't know what the hell it is with that turf, but they got to fix that shit.
Thank God we won't be playing the rest of the year, man. Jets ain't making the playoffs, and the Giants ain't making the playoffs, so we don't have to worry about playing in that crappy-ass stadium, dude. Thank
And
God.
I don't know how such a big market like New York can field such two crappy NFL teams. It's insane, dude. I can't believe it. The Jets did. Jets haven't made the playoffs in what? I think they said it's been like 16 or 15 years. I'm like, damn. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's been the biggest drought out of any NFL team.
Oh my God. I'm like, for such a big for such a big market, that's sad.
Now I don't think it's 16 years because it was. I think the last time was when Sanchez was there, probably like 2010.
20, yeah, so maybe what, 14, maybe 15 years. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think like 14. Yeah,
Decade and a half, man. That means I was still in high school last time we made the playoffs. Fucking crazy.
literally, I think the last time was when Sanchez took them to the AFC Championship game. You guess
Yeah, I
what? The
think it
Colts.
was. No, I think it was against the Steelers.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that was the previous year.
09 was the Colts. Yeah, 09 was that. You know what? That might have been the last year.
Nah, I think it was 010 because they played the Steelers in the AFC title game, and that was the year where Pittsburgh played Green Bay and they lost to Green Bay, where Aaron Rodgers won his first Super Bowl. I think
Yeah,
that was the last time the Jets were in the playoffs.
yeah, 2010.
Yeah, we were seniors in high school, bro. Fucking crazy. And now we're on YouTube doing a podcast.
Dude, my whole 20s have gone by.
And the Jets still haven't made the playoffs.
Holy crap!
Don't worry, I'll say a prayer for all the Jet fans, man.
Jets are horrible, man.
Oh Lord.
And Aaron Rodgers needs to retire. So
Yeah, I think it's that. But yeah, that ship has long. Yeah, I think he has to retire, man. He's got to save that legacy, dude. Ain't no way in hell he can run it back, man. That's over for him, dude.
yeah, and he brought
Just
the
retire, man. Live off that one Super Bowl you got, and just let somebody else take the reins, man.
What a waste having Devontae Adams there.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't blame them for trying, but it was the moment they fired their head coach, their season was lost. It was a wrap.
Yeah, they fired Salah, who I don't think was the right person to fire.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it should have been Hackett.
Yeah, I mean they had more wins last year, man, than they did this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, Robert Salah will probably get another defensive coordinator job.
Yeah, it won't be the first time Aaron Rodgers got a coach fired. Hopefully, it's the last.
Never liked Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't know what it is, bro, about the guy. I just never liked him. I respect him. I respect like his deep throws and everything, man. Like he's done some incredible things through his career. I just don't personally, like if I put personal feelings into it, man, I just don't like the guy. If I was even a team, I wouldn't even for a business decision want him there, man. He's a headache to deal with. I don't care how good you are, dude. You're a headache to deal with. Yeah, and he chokes in big games. So he's choked in how many NFC Championship games? I mean, it's.
I lost track.
Yeah, he's lucky he's got one Super Bowl.
And ironically, that was the year they entered in as a wild card.
Yeah, all those years they had the number one seed, man. They lost in the AFC Championship games. And then they went on the road to Dallas, man, upset them, and then freaking went to the NFC Championship game against Atlanta. And
yeah, if only they could play the Cowboys in every playoff game.
I know, and actually, good point there. They always struggle against Aaron Rodgers. Well, it's going to be very interesting because I think the Eagles are 0-7 against Russell Wilson, and we got to play Russell Wilson this weekend. But Pittsburgh has not won in Philadelphia since 1960-something. So something's got to give. Something's got to give. I will say this about Russell Wilson, man. I do think Russell Wilson's got up there in age, and also he doesn't play for the Seahawks. I just think there's some type of curse with the Seahawks, man. We lost to the Seahawks last year, and they didn't even have Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think it's that stadium, dude. I don't know what it. Maybe the sound, maybe the noise.
Something.
I think the fans just get on you and stuff. I don't know what it is, man.
Well, we've even lost to Seattle at home, though, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, maybe it's just the birds.
Yeah.
we can beat the Ravens, but we can't beat the Seahawks.
Well, the Eagles at worst are probably going to – if we win this weekend, I think the worst the Eagles can get is the number 2. So we just need to get one more win, man, and I just think we have the number 2 wrapped up. I really hope this does not happen, man, but we could just win one more game and lose out, and we would still get the number 2.
Yeah, hopefully Detroit loses a couple, man. I really would like to get that number 1 seed.
Yeah,
but
guys,
if they win out, they deserve it.
Implications. The only real way that the Eagles can get a number 1 seed is if these types of things happen. we need the Detroit to drop 2 games, and we got to win out. So if we win out and if Detroit loses to Buffalo this weekend, that's an AFC opponent. It wouldn't matter if their record's tied. They would still have the head-to-head because they have a better conference record, and they would also need to lose to the Vikings. I mean, they could lose to, you never know. I mean, the Bears, man, they almost lost at home. They got to go on the road. They got to play the Bears, and that's on the road. And then they actually have to go to San Francisco, who, while they're not playing great, like they're playing better football. You never know. You never know. They do have to go on the road for both those games.
That loss to the Falcons, man, could come back to bite us.
I will say, man, they're very lucky that they played Buffalo at home and that they played Minnesota at home. Because if they had to go on the road to Minnesota and Buffalo, bro, that would be oof.
But they've already played. Well, I think they played Minnesota, and I think they already won. So
they did. I think it was a very
they caught a huge break now playing Buffalo and Buffalo. I will say that.
That
won a huge break.
Yeah, they won like 30-29, I think, man, against Minnesota, bro. They won by 1.
Yeah, they pulled it out, man. That's how they beat the Texans like that. I'm like, they barely beat the Bears like that on Thanksgiving. So they're finding ways to win games, man. I give them that props.
And what an injured team. Yeah, I am gonna say, man, I do think Buffalo is gonna win this weekend, man. Especially after losing to the Rams last week, man. I think that it's very important for Buffalo to win this week. It kind of reminds me when the Ravens started 0-2 and then went and played Dallas. We all knew Dallas was gonna lose.
I'm not sure. I'm 50-50.
Well, that line is very interesting, man. It's a 1.5 point favor for Detroit at home. If you give the team 3 points, it's actually a Buffalo line.
I'm surprised it's not even. I don't think
it was. It started out as like -3, I think, man, and it went down to 1.5 now, man, which kind of shows that they're pounding Buffalo, bro. It's essentially a favorable Buffalo line because you give the home team 3 points. So right now it's -1.5 for Detroit, but if you actually look at it, it's minus. If you take away the home field advantage, it's -1.5 for Buffalo. If you look at it that way, if this game was in Buffalo, that essentially says that it would be a push for Buffalo.
Wow. Damn, I can't wait. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, the one thing that sucks is those teams they play the same time as the Eagles.
I know. Damn, I wish they would flex this to maybe Sunday night, or maybe they flex that game to Sunday night so we get a chance to see it.
I know, man. So we'll see what happens, but I guess we can wrap up here, guys. We've got a good episode next week for 195. We are about to be 5 episodes away from 200, so I will have a big episode for that going into the new year. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to use this platform, and I'm excited to keep cranking out some YouTube content as I've been doing, and continue to play around with this software and kind of integrate it to the best of my ability and kind of use this as effectively as possible. I'm excited to play around with some new software. But that being said, man, thank you, brother, for coming on. Guys, have a great weekend. We near another weekend towards the Christmas holiday, towards the end of the year. Guys, I hope you guys are all having a great holiday season, but have a great weekend. We'll see you next week for episode 195. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good night, brother.
Take care, man. Thanks for inviting me, man. Have a good night. Take care, Locked In Nation. I'll see y'all next time.
Have a good night, brother.
All right, bye.
Later.